Gettysburg Museum of History Studios. You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
Hang on. I don't know why this thing suddenly goes off all the time. It used to stay on all the fucking time, but now it doesn't. Okay. All right.
Take two.
Take two.
From the Gettysburg Museum of History Studios, you're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing here today? We have a friend, you and I, a mutual friend, and he does remarkable things because the things he does take a lot of time and energy, and somehow he finds both while maintaining an actual career and a family. Now, to put that in perspective, I have this little piddly show. I never leave Gettysburg. I don't go on the road to produce content. I have a girlfriend and a puppy, and I can't manage. But somehow this guy does. I think you know who I'm talking about, probably because you read the title. J.D. Huitt from the History Underground. J.D., welcome to Addressing Gettysburg once again.
Yeah, thanks. Been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. Yeah. I know. So you put out a video the other day. I guess it was last week now, or 2 weeks ago even. A while ago. It doesn't matter. It came out. Called Humility and History, I believe is the title. Or was it History and Humility? No, Humility and History.
I think it was History and Humility. Whatever. Is what I titled it. Something like that.
Something like that. I could have written it down. But you started to talk about that, and I kind of liked it. Well. I did. And I have to tell you that since I watched it, I've been sitting in front of an editing machine nonstop. So some of what you said in it might have been erased from my brain, but the essence of it is still in my heart. So let's get into it though. First of all, what made you want to even do that?
Yeah. So the prompting of that is, of course I got this YouTube channel that involves me traveling to different places on a series called History Traveler. And I mean, I'll go. I have a pretty broad range of interests, so I'll go anywhere and see anything. I'm kind of a hungry learner. So it could be ancient history, or it could be Civil War history, World War I, World War II. So I've been pretty blessed to be able to go different places and see and experience different things. I've spent quite a bit of time, here in Gettysburg as well. It's one of my favorite places on earth. And I'd made a post on social media saying, what was it? I'd been running like a bunch of different stuff, I think on World War II or something like that. And said, hey, coming up here pretty soon for all you Civil War enthusiasts, got some Civil War content that is popping up. And somebody replied, they're like, oh, I hope to God it isn't something from Gettysburg.
Yes. Okay. I remember this. Yeah.
So I
You sure that wasn't me? Because every time you do that, my views go down because you drown me out.
Turns out it wasn't from Gettysburg.
Good.
I was actually, doing something in Mississippi. Went to Battle of Bryce's Crossroads battlefield, and also the Battle of Tupelo, which very few people on YouTube have gone to or even know about. There's not a whole lot of that actual battlefield left. But anyway, so it wasn't from Gettysburg, but it kind of got me to thinking, like, man, I also get this stuff, when it comes to like Band of Brothers type things as well. People,
they're sick of it.
Yeah. They feel like they're sick of it. So
it's the low hanging fruit. And I think people who are really into this stuff are like, okay, we get it, but they don't understand, like, a content creator, there's a business to it. There's an art to it. There's a business to it. And the business side of it, unfortunately, is ruled by that algorithm.
Yeah.
And, you got to do the Gettysburg, you got to do the Band of Brothers because that's what the algorithm pushes.
Well, yes. So there is some truth in that.
At least this week, that's how it works.
Yeah, yeah,
It
exactly.
might change next week. But
So there is some truth in that. To be honest, with my YouTube channel, it's 100% driven by what I want.
Yeah.
And what I'm interested in. I mean, a while back.
Go ahead. Finish.
Oh, I actually co-produced a TV show for 6 years and did post-production for another show for a while. I was in the hunting industry. And by the time I got done with that, I was so jaded by the whole process because we were beholden to sponsors and it just like completely stifled a lot of creativity. Yeah. And after I got out of that, I said, I'm not doing that again, which was kind of the beauty of YouTube is that I could do what I want. It could be 5 minutes. It could be 50 minutes. Yeah. It could be just whatever caught my attention. So
are you afraid though? Maybe not afraid is the right word, but a little, I don't know what the word is, but what is your reaction to, let's put it that way, how YouTube specifically seems to really be messing with how things are seen, how often they're seen.
Yeah.
What worked for you all this time, are you afraid that might not work for you anymore if their rules and algorithms change to a point where they're going to be, I mean, it seems to me, I think we talked about this the other day when I was being interviewed by Josh on his podcast.
Oh yeah.
And I think you said something in the comments, or somebody did, about AI and how YouTube seems to be pushing AI content.
Yeah.
And I've noticed a lot of very young channels with very high views doing only AI.
Yeah.
And they're talking about Gettysburg, they're talking about Band of Brothers, they're talking about all the big ones, but it's AI written scripts, AI generated voice, AI generated images, not always historically correct.
Right.
No one is actually proofing it to find out if the AI got it right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a little bit of a scary thing right now, at least in the YouTube world. And that's just really been in the past couple of years that has really kind of reared its ugly head. So what I was dealing with before was trying to think of a good way to say it. Maybe censorship, you could maybe say, or something like that. But like if I would post a video that had to do with Hitler.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't matter if I, make it, and I'll have to do this now. I have to make it clear that Hitler was an evil guy and that the Nazis were terrible and that the Third Reich was okay. So you got to really, go over to do that. Just me putting Hitler's face on a thumbnail would get my video demonetized. Yeah. So there was one video in particular where I had a picture of Hitler's. One of the photos that he had taken, there was like a whole series of photos where
where he's like,
yeah. And he was like in different poses and things like that to kind of examine his speaking style and everything. Anyway, I put one of those up, video just gets demonetized. I went online and I found a picture of a Hitler cat. That it was like this black and white cat, and it had a black strip right underneath its nose. So I took that and I superimposed it over the face of Hitler on the thumbnail, re-uploaded the video, no problem.
No problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go. If you ever want to do a YouTube channel where you talk about World War II, and if you need to do a Hitler thumbnail, use a cat.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fine.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that kind of seemed to subside a little bit. I don't know if the algorithm got tweaked or something like that. But then now this AI stuff has really yielded some concerning things. So basically, like you mentioned, if somebody goes on YouTube, they create an AI channel, and like there was one the other day that I saw that was about Gettysburg. And the thumbnail is a guy in a World War I uniform laying over on the ground with his face half rotted.
Yes.
And when that gets promoted by YouTube, that real estate that it is taking up is replacing where another channel could be recommended.
Sure.
So
one that actually is correct.
Correct. Yeah. So that's a bit of a concern.
I guess also though what you might be trying to say is that there's always something that YouTube throws at a creator that they have to overcome. And it now I don't know about this for you, but for me, it's kind of demoralizing because you're working really hard at something that you enjoy and you think your audience will enjoy.
Yeah.
But Hitler's not even YouTube, same thing. YouTube isn't even showing your audience this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many times we do a live stream and I get a message from somebody or they leave a comment saying, I never got a notification you went live, just on a live stream. Well, why not? Why wouldn't you send 30,000 or in your case, 40 million subscribers, a notification that we went live?
Yeah.
Why don't they do that? Obviously they have a reason. There's a thinking to that. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But, and it's just the amount of work that it takes to do what we do. Right. You have unbridled and unbounded and unlimited energy, it seems. Now, Eric tells me every time you guys go over to Europe, he's like, man, JD doesn't even stop to pee. He's like, I don't know how he has this energy, but he gets up before dawn and he's out there shooting already. And we're just like falling out of bed at 8 o'clock to go to breakfast at 8:30. And we're all, and he's like, hey guys, I've been shooting all day. And then you go into the night and it's just, what is it? You just were born this way, obviously. It has to be.
I was getting ready to make a joke and say meth, but I don't want to start it.
You have all your teeth. I know you don't do meth.
No, yeah. So I like to think that I have a pretty driven personality, and pretty goal oriented, and I think there's just some sort of a genetic thing where I just don't need a whole lot of sleep.
Yeah, obviously, I have some motivations. I have some goals. I don't have the energy that you have. They have to be, like how far out do you plan your year? What content you're going to do, where you're going to go, because you're going all over the place.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think you're insane because you go to places where where was that place you went in the Pacific where it was like
Guadalcanal,
and you were like, I don't know if I should be here, kind of situation, right?
Guadalcanal was just hot and
there was some situation where like you were going where you should not be going. And you were like, kind of, like the people were
that could be danger. That could be one of several places.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Guam. Yeah, I got into a little bit of a situation that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
And
then in Greece, you had your car broken into and all your stuff stolen.
Yeah. Yep. That happened too.
At an Airbnb.
Yeah.
But you don't learn your lesson. You keep going all over the place.
Just
keep
going at it.
You know what? You're going to, on your deathbed, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, I had a full life. And I'll look back and I'll go, I should have done more. So it's okay.
I hope so. Yeah. So I've, I don't know. When I step back and think about it, I've had some pretty strange experiences. I've been in countries where the government has collapsed while I was there. I was in Guatemala one time, walked up on some people performing a sacrifice on a chicken at a temple. It's
nice.
It's like, at
least it wasn't a person.
Yeah, that would have been a crazy story there.
They've modernized a bit and just went to chickens. So what? Okay, we kind of went on a tangent.
Boy, we have really
strayed
gone down.
far from humility.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the humility thing. So in the video you did, you never really got to the point why you did that video.
Yeah. So the reason I did that video was twofold. Was one, to show that in any historic topic, you need to approach it with a certain degree of humility, because no matter how much you know, you're never going to know everything. You're always learning new things. So for example, I've been to Gettysburg several times now. And you guys live here and, can get access to the battlefield and everything like that at any point. But I'm constantly learning new things. And really, if we just kind of keep Gettysburg as the example here, Gettysburg has served as kind of like a Rosetta Stone for me.
Okay.
When it comes to the Civil War. So it's through Gettysburg that I learned like how the armies and brigades and everything, how it's all organized. And you learn things about Gettysburg. And then if you kind of attach yourself maybe to a regiment or to a person or something like that, well, their whole Civil War career wasn't in Gettysburg.
Right,
a lot of times they get defined by what happened to them in Gettysburg. But then that can take you other places where you can learn more about the Civil War.
Yeah.
So, for example, you got Alfred Pleasanton, okay, who was the head of the cavalry here. Well, what happens to him after Gettysburg?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Well, ends up he gets kind of shipped out to the Trans-Mississippi Theater and ends up chasing Sterling Price in 1864 at the tail end of the Sterling Price raid, where he comes up into Missouri and makes this big loop. There's some big battles that take place out there. Okay, so by learning more, if you kind of attach yourself to somebody here in Gettysburg, you're like, okay, well, what happened with this guy? Okay, and you can
like Washington Roebling. What happened with him?
So I have no idea who that is.
Hey, buddy. What's got you so down?
Hey, Court. I'm looking for a gift, but I just don't know what to get my Gettys nerd friends and family.
It sounds like we need to have a talk. Come on. You love this place, don't you?
You bet I do. It's my favorite place in the world.
Well, you see, at Addressing Gettysburg, it's our mission to keep these stories alive.
How do we do that?
I'm glad you asked, sport. You see, Gettysburg is the gateway to the most brutal and crucial time in American history, so we interview experts, and our listeners learn with us.
That sounds amazing.
It is! Mike, are you f***ing serious?
What? It's for the commercial.
What benefits do patrons get? You mean besides up to 4 premium episodes per month and Matt being the bee's knees as host? How about early access to special episodes, behind-the-scenes insights, and discounts for ticketed events?
Whoa! None of the other history channels I follow do that for their listeners.
That's because Addressing Gettysburg doesn't take its listeners for granted and really cares about us learning American history.
You know, I should gift my Gettys nerd friends and family an Addressing Gettysburg Patreon membership.
You see, the answer was right under your nose the entire time.
Make Addressing Gettysburg's Patreon a gift for the Gettys nerd in your family this holiday season. Addressing Gettysburg wants you to learn about the Civil War with us, and we need your support. We'll run this ad until it gets annoying, and then we'll run it until you become a patron at patreon.com/Addressing Gettysburg or by scanning the QR code on your screen. Happy holidays.
The hell are we staring at?
No idea.
Oh, he built the Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was on Little Round Top.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. Okay.
Yeah,
I forgot his name.
It's a great point. Scott Hartwig once said when I first started doing this, he was one of my first interviews. He might have been the first interview. And he said that Gettysburg is the gateway drug to the Civil War. But 100%. Really, if you look at the Battle of Gettysburg as the gateway drug to the Civil War, and then the Civil War as the gateway drug to post-Civil War American history, like modern American history, I think kind of really starts at the Civil War. Yeah. Because Roebling, for example, again, he goes and he builds the Brooklyn Bridge. And then if you dig into that story more, you find out, I think he got sick or something like that. And I think he took it over from his father, first of all, or something. It's been a while since I looked into him, but and then he got sick, and I think his wife completed it. So if you're all into that women's history stuff, there you go.
It's all there.
You got that too there, and so and then of course guys like Custer, and Miles Keogh, who was with Custer when he died, but he was he was one of Buford's staff officers here. And a couple months later, when Buford's dying, Miles Keogh's the guy who's holding him, cradling his head as he dies.
Yeah.
And it's just these great stories. And one battle. And of course, you can do the same with Antietam. You could do it with all these battles.
Exactly.
But for some reason, Gettysburg is the thing that it seems to capture the American, not just the American, the world's imagination. And do you ever think of that? Like, do you ever wonder why Gettysburg has you so fascinated with it, or why people are fascinated with it like they are?
Yeah, I'm constantly perplexed by it.
Me too. And I'm one of them.
Well, and when I say that, I'm talking about people from other countries. Like on the videos that I've done, so I can go in and look at the analytics for each video, and I can see where everybody's watching from. Right. So 30% watched from the Netherlands and 75% watched from the U.S. My Civil War videos, I'll always get a bump from people from Australia.
Oh yeah,
who are watching.
Yeah, well, our listener Grant.
Yes,
he loves this. He knows more about the Civil War than some of the people I have on the show. I think
he's very knowledgeable.
Yeah,
very knowledgeable.
I'm exaggerating, Grant. You're not that good, but but really, he does know a lot. And you're right. It's perplexing, the foreign interest in our Civil War. I can understand our interest in the Second World War.
Yeah,
and to an extent, the First. Because our grandfathers or great grandfathers fought in those wars.
Yeah.
Okay? They went over there and they fought. I don't know many Australians, I'm sure there were some, who came and fought our Civil War. Our Civil War was an internal conflict for the most part.
Right.
And I don't understand the foreign interest in it, but I did get to ask did you ever ask a foreigner why they're interested in it?
No. I've not really.
When I used to do the bike tours, we had a couple come from England, and this was 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And they were from England, and once I learned that, I was like, oh, what part of England, and they're like, oh, Bournemouth by the Seine or something, and I'm like, I don't know any of this stuff, I don't know, I just want to make conversation. And I said, but what brought you to Gettysburg?
Right.
I can understand coming to the States and going to New York and Las Vegas, Los Angeles, D.C., things like that. But why Gettysburg? And they're like, oh, well, we're fascinated with your Civil War. And I go, why? And they're like, well, we've been watching, we get American news and everything. And we don't get the news you get about your country. We get different news. And, the way we look at it, and she points to her husband and, back and forth. And she's like, the way we look at it is you guys might be heading for another one. And it scares the shit out of us. And I said, really? And I said, why do you say that? And she's like, I said, why does it scare the shit out of you? And she goes, well, because if you go, we all go. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. And that was in 2018.
Yeah.
And here we are at what are we in? 2025. And, I actually just had a conversation with, I talked to you about it too. Mm-hmm. So Scott Hartwig and I had a conversation. I talked to you. I want to do a show where we explore this question, because I'm hearing more and more people saying we're basically in the early stages of one, and it scares the hell out of me.
Yeah.
And I think people say it rather lightly and without much thought, and they're not encouraging it. But at the same time, crazy people don't need much encouragement. They just need to hear the idea thrown out there, and they're like, yeah, let's go for it. And I don't think you guys realize how ugly that's going to be.
I have no idea.
No idea. And so I want to do a show about that with a bunch of, historians, because that's the other thing that kind of scares me, is that the Civil War historian community is quite quiet on that subject.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why, because I don't see the differences in this country to be reconcilable peacefully. And that's what scares me.
Yeah.
They're two very different Americas now. And I don't know. I just want to go on a mountaintop and leave it all.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, we can get into it now, unless you want to save some for that show.
Why don't we just get into it superficially?
Superficially?
Yeah, we'll talk about other things.
So I think there are definitely two different Americas online. for sure, and on social media. And there are definitely two extremes in this country who are going to take us right over the edge if both sides don't rein in their crazies.
Which they don't seem to be trying to do.
They don't seem to be trying to. They want to rein. They want the other side to rein in their crazies, but are fairly willing to rein in their own. But yeah, I completely agree with you that people who talk flippantly about a modern civil war have zero clue what they're talking about, because they don't know what that would look like.
No.
I've been to an area that has been disrupted by war and have seen the fallout from it. And I'm telling you, we don't want that in this country.
No.
Under no circumstances. And anybody who talks about a civil war thinks about our American Civil War back in the 1860s, and that's not what it's going to look like. It's not a territorial conflict.
No. No. And if it ever does get territorial, there's no contiguousness to it, because they're all separate. Like, let's say it goes down along red and blue states.
Yeah.
Well, they're not all together.
No.
Geographically.
No.
So how does that work? Like, it's chaos and bedlam is what it's going to be.
Well, I'll tell you what it looks like. It looks like Missouri during the Civil War.
Yes.
It's a bunch of bushwhackers killing each other. Is what it is.
Yeah. And it's and I think it's going to be mostly in the cities. It's where it's at least going to start.
Yeah.
And because living in a city, you're all on top of each other.
Right.
You're this close to knocking somebody's block off anyway.
Yeah.
Living in a city. So I just think it's going to be if it happens, and I pray to God every night that it doesn't happen, but if it does, it's going to be horrendous, and nobody's going to really know how to handle it.
Yeah.
You're just not going to know who's friend or foe.
Yeah.
Because it's just going to be everywhere.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's Missouri during the Civil War.
Yeah.
Or the Troubles in Ireland.
Yes. Oh God. Yes. It'll probably be like that.
Yeah.
But luckily we have the interior of the country where there's nothing. And that's where I'm going to go with a tent, and I'm just going to hide out there until it's all over. I'm too old for this shit. I can't get into that. What do you think about, well, not what do you think about, but like your audience, it is vast. It is international.
Yeah.
And that's why they call it the World Wide Web, of course. But you're one of the things I love to see on your social media is when you get smart alecky with people who have negative comments. And I think if you're going to respond, that's the way to do it, right? A little self-deprecation. You're not really attacking them.
Yeah.
You're just, but sometimes you're pointing out their misspellings or whatever. But like, for the most part, you're having fun with these people who are trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that. That's the way to do it.
I tell you what, people see that and they misunderstand it in two different ways. One, what they don't know about me is that I was here at the beginning. All right. So my high school got the internet in, I think, 1995 or 1996. With no exposure to the internet whatsoever, nobody teaching us anything. Like, me and my friends, the first thing that we just naturally did, like a bunch of primates,
right?
That have been given a stick and they learn to make a tool out of it in some kind. We get on the internet and just start immediately riling people up and having fun with them and getting them all spun up and watching them just completely melt down, and then sit back and laugh at how silly these people are.
Right.
Okay.
But you were 14-year-old boys at that time.
Yes. It's the one area of my life where I never matured. So people don't understand that I'm still just having fun with that kind of stuff. And also, people will reach out and listen, it's all well intentioned and everything like that. And they'll say, "Oh man, I'm so sorry you're doing a great job." And they're trying to be encouraging and stuff like that. And what they do is like, I've made a pact with myself that I will never let a stranger on the internet ruin my day.
Yes, absolutely.
Under any circumstances. So yeah, I like to have fun with it and, kind of poke the bear a little bit, sometimes at my own expense, making myself look dumb.
But that actually just makes you look better than.
And then watching them melt down even more. It's just
well. So that's the thing. You don't really show if it continues. You just show their comment and your first reply.
Yeah.
But do they often continue? And does it turn into them trying to have a fight with you?
Yeah. So I have got myself in trouble a few times.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Like got in shelf? How?
Well. Okay, so this was back during the TV show days.
Okay.
Okay. I'm trying to think of the short way to tell this story. My wife and I had adopted a couple, or we were in the process of adopting a few kids from Ukraine. And for the TV show, my partner had gone on there and made a post about it or something like that. Somebody left a really nasty comment about it.
About you adopting kids?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was nasty. It was nasty.
When did you have this TV show?
That would have been from 2006 to 2012.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Around there.
All right.
So anyway, I get on there and I start messing with this guy. And it turns out he had a criminal history.
Oh, no. Right. Now endorsed by a Pulitzer Prize winner. Do you like coffee?
I can't really drink coffee.
Why not? You don't like the taste of it?
No, caffeine.
Oh, I hear you. But you used to drink coffee.
I have drank coffee.
Too bad this wasn't around back in the day when you drank coffee.
Right.
Because you would have enjoyed this. This is our coffee. It's called Little Ground Top. It's roasted right here in Gettysburg at 82 Steinware Avenue, Bantam Roasters. You can go in anytime. You can get a bag whenever you want. Smell that, though, Edda. Isn't that wonderful?
It smells
It does
really
smell
good.
really nice,
Yes,
doesn't it?
It does.
You could just keep a bag of this in your living room just for the smell, right?
Yeah.
But you got to get it ground first. You know, they could do it in whole bean or ground. You can get it ground if you want it for drip coffee or French press, whatever. It's just fantastic. You could also buy it online if you, when you get back home to Pittsburgh and you decide, oh, my friend loves coffee. Oh, I just heard about this Little Ground Top. Well, you go to addressinggettysburg.com/cafe and you can order it there and get it, and you don't ever have to set foot in Gettysburg again. Not that you wouldn't want to, because and not that we don't want you to. We love having you here, so you come back as often as you want. But yeah, Little Ground Top. So 82 Steinware Avenue, Bantam Roasters here in Gettysburg, or addressinggettysburg.com/cafe.
And claim to have connections with Mexican drug cartels and everything like that. And first I was like, whatever. And then I looked him up and I'm like, oh, dang.
Oh, his name is El Chapo.
Yeah. So anyway, I never got nasty with him or anything like that, or got into like a full on, internet fight. To be honest, the way that whole thing ended was like, no matter what he would throw at me, I would just constantly be nice, having fun and everything like that, but never getting to
kill him with kindness.
Yeah. And eventually that guy reached out and he said, man, my wife saw this exchange and kind of pointed out that I haven't really been the best individual in this.
Wow.
In this exchange. He said, I wanted to apologize. He said, you've been nothing but nice. And he said, that's not the way I would have responded if somebody would have said the things to me that I said to you.
That is so rare that someone would do that.
Yeah. It's honestly been my experience through a whole litany of different crazy things that I've been through is that like I try to be nice no matter what.
Yeah.
I won't let anybody, well, I do fail and I'll
you're a
lose
human
my
being.
temper and stuff like that. But I always endeavor to be kind. No matter what. There's a verse in the Bible that says harsh words stir up anger, but a gentle answer turns away wrath.
No, it does. That is, I've never. When I was younger, I've said plenty of things in jest that would piss someone off. And I never got punched because because I was able to diffuse it by first you just be real and you let them, you be nice. You don't answer anger with anger. Yeah. Right. But sometimes that makes them angrier is when you're not matching their anger. Yeah. But no, you're absolutely right. Cause I don't get them as much as you do, but when I get, and it's not because people hate you more, it's they hate me more, but they don't bother. For you have much more views. So obviously you're going to get a higher percentage.
Yeah. It's a broader net that I'm casting.
Yeah. So you're going to get a lot of those negative comments, but when I get the negative comments, it seems to be that I'll try the same tact you do, and they don't come back. And it's not that I don't do it successfully. Like I do it, I get it. I employ that in my day-to-day life, right? So I get what you're doing. That's why I like it. Yeah. But I don't have the opportunity to do it online as often as you do. And so, but when I do, I have had people, actually with patrons more than anything, I've had patrons send me an email and it's always been user error. Okay. Yeah. So, and in one way or another, and they're nasty about it. But I come back.
But at least they're paying to be nasty.
They're paying to be nasty. So I will put up with it. Right. Yeah. And so I'll write back and I'll go, I don't know what that is you're talking, but I know exactly what it is, but I can't come back and say, you're doing it wrong. Or I can't come back and say, when you signed up for that tier, you didn't read what you get with that tier. Yeah. And it's oftentimes, like in that case, for example, it's oftentimes they heard a preview, they wanted to hear the preview, they just see all the different levels. They go, well, I just want to pay $5. And so they pay $5, but it's not available to the $5 level. And then they get pissed at me, like I'm holding out on, like I knew they were going to hear, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then once I explain it to them, they become my best friend. Yeah. And then they apologize. And so you're right. Like I could match your anger and ruin the whole situation for both of us. Yeah. We'd both have a bad day.
And that the whole thing is just so completely foreign to me because I like to think of myself as a pretty laid back guy. I don't really get spun up about anything.
Well, you're in the wrong business then. You need to be less public.
And maybe maybe it's because I've been to some places and experienced some things where people had real problems. Yeah. And that gives you some perspective.
It does. And I would also say that your faith is a huge guide for you.
It's
and
central to everything.
Yeah. And it keeps you grounded where I would argue that a lot of these people that get their jollies going and making nasty comments to somebody who's actually doing something with his life.
Yeah.
Those people probably don't have a very strong faith in just about anything. Yeah. So especially themselves. And that's why I don't let that stuff bother. I mean, of course there's sometimes it bothers me because I read it at the wrong time. You know what I mean? Like I'm just not in the mood. I've had a rough, shitty day. And the comment belies a lot of things. One of them is this person doesn't have a clue what my day has been like today, right? And how could they? And why should they care? The second thing is they don't have a clue of how this works and how much work I put into it. And to you to just puff it off with some stupid little comment like that, it's like, okay, well, you don't get it. Yeah. Fine. You don't get it. Why are you wasting your time? So then I start to realize they're telling me more about themselves than they're saying anything about me. Yeah. And they're showing us when they do this stuff that they're unhinged.
Well, and that's why I repost that stuff from time to time. It's in a way me holding up
a mirror. Yeah.
And saying, hey, and it's to me too. Like, hey, be careful how you live. Be careful how you act. Look at how crazy this person looks right now. Mm-hmm. This is how crazy you look
when you do
I look.
Yes.
If I were to just completely.
When you do the same thing.
Yeah. But
I know. But it is enjoyable to watch when you post those. I do enjoy that.
So that same guy who said, I hope to God that it's not Gettysburg. When I posted the Bryce's Crossroads video, that same guy came back and it was hilarious. It wasn't anything like hey man, I learned a lot, or, hey, I appreciate, helping me to learn something new or anything like that. The comment was, I'm so glad this wasn't another Gettysburg. It's like this guy's life is just hinged on whether or not I do another Gettysburg. But, another thing, kind of talking about this whole thing with humility, not only do you have to be humble in the fact that knowing that you don't know everything, but also being humble in the fact, humbling yourself so that others can learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, with my background in education, I have to do this often, to where here's an individual who may know nothing about the Civil War or, Gettysburg or whatever. And you have to meet them where they are. Mm-hmm. If you're an individual who cares about history and who cares about our American heritage and cares about others learning that history, well, then you're also going to have to adopt a certain measure of humility so that you can meet people where they are and so that they can be put in a position where they can learn.
Yeah.
Because there was a time where you learned about the Battle of Gettysburg for the first time.
Sure.
You knew nothing about it.
No.
And the same thing for me.
Yeah. You have to keep reminding yourself of what it was like when you were first learning and what you didn't know. And I like, though, when I meet somebody who's just learning and they make a bold statement like, Longstreet should have let Hood go around to the right.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, you just saw the movie. And I don't belittle them. I don't try to. I explain more to them why that's oversimplified, and that was just a fictional movie based on a fictional book.
Sure.
And here's what really happened. And I like to do that, not to seem smarter than everybody, because I'm not to make that person feel bad, but because I remember the tingle I got when I learned the rest of the story.
Yeah, exactly.
And do you remember Paul Harvey?
Yeah.
And he was always saying, now you know the rest of the story.
Yeah.
Well, I used to love listening to Paul Harvey because of the way he crafted the story. But yeah, I like to know the rest of the story. There's the story we know. There's the story that whoever wanted us to know, but then there's the whole story, and that's what I like.
Yeah.
And so I love giving that feeling to somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. So here's a good example. Just honestly in the past week, where I had this experience. So if you had to put a label on, let's call him the golden boy of the Battle of Gettysburg, who is it going to be?
Chamberlain.
Exactly. Yeah. Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody knows Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain with the 20th Maine and on the far left flank of Gettysburg. We've seen the movie, read the book. Okay, everything Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain. Okay.
Right.
So now people who are, really, really in deep with, the Battle of Gettysburg, now it's kind of like they're almost kind of like a hipster, something like that, where everybody else knows it, so now it's not cool, and
yes,
kind of roll it out.
Yeah, like when Green Day fans after Green Day's album Dookie went popular, then they were like, "Oh, these new fans are just trendies."
Yeah, and then you got to go find some other obscure band.
Right.
Okay, so I have some friends up in Maine.
Yeah,
and one of Pete Roberts, he is the CEO and founder of a company called Origin. They make this hoodie, they make jeans, they make boots and stuff like that.
Okay.
So being from Maine, Farmington, Maine is where they're headquartered. He's talked about doing like a line of history-based products that's based on the 20th Maine.
Okay.
I'm like, cool. I like it. It's blending history and, whatever it is that you're doing with, boots or something like that. I'm a fan of any kind of history-inspired product. Out of my own curiosity, I was like, I wonder how many people from Farmington, Maine were in the 20th Maine, because I thought the 20th, I think, was pulled more from people north. At least that's what I thought. Anyway, I looked, there ended up being one person from their town who was in the 20th Maine. I also found that there were a lot of people So there's one guy from the 20th and quite a few from the 16th and the 17th Maine.
So guys that were here.
Guys that were here at Gettysburg. So I reached out and I'm like, hey, I know you're planning on doing this stuff at the 20th Maine. I was like, hey, did you know that you actually had a lot of people from your town that were in the 16th and 17th Maine? Okay, and then started telling him about, hey, 16th Maine on day one. The 20th Maine has like 33% casualties.
Yeah, 37, I think.
Was it 37? Okay,
so,
all right.
Yeah.
The 16th Maine, like 85.
Like 80.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like they just get completely sacrificed on that first day so that the men of the division can fall back. There's almost 300. There's 298. So I just rounded up and call it the last stand of the 300. And then 17th Maine, down in the wheat field, and he said I had no idea.
Yeah.
And in their town they have a Civil War monument that was modeled after the 16th Maine monument here at Gettysburg.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So in that moment, I could have very easily, when somebody mentions the 20th Maine, I could have just rolled my eyes. I mean, like,
yeah,
gosh, normie, whatever.
Yeah.
But instead, you take the person, you meet them where they are, and then you say, hey, here's Paul Harvey. Here's the rest of the story. Here's maybe a few things that you didn't know.
And you have to start with, hey. You got to go, hey.
Yeah, exactly.
The Gettysburg Museum of History, located right here in the center of Gettysburg, PA. Owner and curator Eric Dorr grew up here and has spent his life collecting and preserving history through artifacts ranging from the Civil War, the Battle of Gettysburg, World War II, presidential items, pop culture, and more. His museum is free and open to visitors Wednesday through Sunday, 11 to 5 p.m., where you can stop by and immerse yourself in some of the most amazing artifacts that you would never believe exist in the middle of Gettysburg. If you're a fan of Band of Brothers and Everything Easy Company, you'll love his exhibit featuring the Dick Winters collection and artifacts from D-Day. You can even own your own piece of history by buying one of the many relics they have for sale in the museum and on the website gettysburgmuseumofhistory.com. The Gettysburg Museum of History is a non-profit 501c3 organization with a foundation that allows all purchases and donations to keep the museum operating and open free of charge. They have been featured on the History Channel, the Travel Channel, the Smithsonian Channel, and the Science Channel. Now you can check them out on American Artifact, the series on the YouTube channel, The History Underground. So that's the Gettysburg Museum of History at 219 Baltimore Street or the gettysburgmuseumofhistory.com.
No, I love that. And I love that you did that because, yeah, there are more Maine men here. And as you point out, the 16th, got shellacked.
Oh,
and I'll tell you something about Maine fighters. I wouldn't want to go up against them. There's hardy backwoods guys.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah, either working in, I think a lot of those guys from the 16th were, working in the swamps, logging, or they, were pulled off of the, off the docks, and stuff like
just
that.
A really hard life.
Yeah, in their regimental history. Now, again, there could be some bias here.
Sure,
but the regimental history says that when they come through Washington D.C., they're put on garrison duty in D.C. for a little bit. It says that as they come in through there on parade or whatever, that there were comments made that the men of the 16th Maine were noticeably bigger than the other regiments who came through. Right?
Hardier stock.
Yeah, exactly.
No, those Maine people are no joke.
Yeah. And again, looking at the 16th Maine, well, you can go back and say, oh, okay, again, like we were talking earlier, well, where else were these guys? And you find out, well, they were at South Mountain and Antietam, weren't engaged in the battle there. They were on railroad duty guarding. And then, they get thrown into the fire at Fredericksburg. So again, it's kind of that thing where if you just adopt a little bit of humility, you can find yourself in a position to learn a lot of new things.
And exactly. Also, I find, because every human being has biases about whatever. We just recently did one of our tavern talks about John Brown. prior to doing it,
By the way, let me interrupt you. Anytime somebody says John Brown, I hear Ed Bear's voice in my head.
Brown.
John Brown. John Brown. John Brown.
John Brown.
It's like this instantaneous. They just
Yeah.
Pavlov's dog. I just hear it in my head. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. So we prior to doing it, I just saw John Brown as a terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care what his cause was. Anybody. I don't care what your cause is. The minute you bring violence into it, you've lost the argument, in my estimation.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you never really had an argument to begin with. But I've always been troubled by my stance on that because he did have an argument to begin with.
Yeah.
An argument I agree with. I don't agree with his tactics. I think the guy was a lunatic. I think there's no difference between John Brown and Osama bin Laden, except John Brown actually did the fighting, right? That's the way I was thinking prior to doing our thing, our Tavern Talk.
Okay.
Since the Tavern Talk,
I'm patiently waiting to see where this goes.
Since the Tavern Talk, I think he's Cat Hitler. No, since the Tavern Talk, I have tempered that view, and I am now not certain in either way, in either direction. Yeah. I am certain that I don't believe he was crazy anymore.
Yeah.
I think he was passionate, zealot, overzealous perhaps. He was a zealot for sure. But he believed and not felt, he believed what he was doing was right. And he believed that it was God's work, that he was a commander of God's army doing God's work.
Yeah.
Well, how the hell do you argue with that? Now, somebody can say, well, then that shows he's crazy. How does he know what God wants? You know, and you could argue that if you want to, but I would just say, well, no, I don't know if that's so crazy, especially for that time. Right. He might have been definitely a little more extreme than other people, but a lot of people believed that God had a hand in every aspect of their daily lives.
Yeah.
So, it's but it taught me, which I would doing the show to begin with, I knew going into it that I had to relearn. I had to come back and look at Gettysburg because I had stayed away from it for about 8 years, and I had to come back and look at it with fresh eyes, and I had to almost forget what I thought I knew. And I think that served me well because I was willing to listen to people, and from that comes other ideas for shows. Oh, I never heard of that. Let's do a show about that, right? So you have to open your mind to that, but you have to, if you come. If you're Eric, we just did an interview with Eric Dorr, and he had alluded to museums that infuse political stances or political ideology into their history.
Yeah.
And I never liked that.
No.
I don't care which side of the aisle you are on. I don't like that because that's not how they saw things. I want to see how they saw things. What was it like back then? That's why I study history. I want to know what it was like in another time. I don't want to know how evil we think they are or how great we think they are, right? I'm rambling now. But what was my point to you? Oh, is that with the John Brown thing, listening to people who I knew. Yeah, and he's an interesting guy, John Brown.
Well, very much.
Yes, he is. But the idea, John Brown, is an interesting thing to talk about because he is a person who I don't know if I've seen so much of it on the right, but I know on the left that he is a deity of sorts, and some people can't hear any criticism of John Brown, much like they can't hear any criticism of whoever they want for president today or whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
And those people I put in the same category as Brown himself. Like, I know you can't tell me I'm wrong. You can't tell me, whatever. No humility there.
Exactly.
No open-mindedness, closed mind. Inhumble. What's the opposite of inhumble or humble?
Proud.
Proud. Thank you. Too proud.
Yeah.
Right. I knew I couldn't be that way with my view of him because I'm old enough to know that life is not black and white.
Yeah.
People are not black and white. People are complex, and that's what history is. It's a story of people and how they interact with one another and the things that happen and blah, 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 blah. And complex people make the stories that we want to hear. Right? I don't want to hear about the lady who sits at knitting all day by her bay window. She's boring me. But the guy who's out there taking over a federal installation because he believes that we need to free the slaves, but he hasn't thought the damn thing through well enough. Like, look, that's an interesting guy.
That's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we did it, because now back in the back room, Tad, go to that. Now a photograph of John Brown hangs, and I have all the people who were at that tavern talk sign the bottom of it.
Oh, nice.
Because I had my mind not changed on John Brown, but open. I haven't made up my mind on him yet.
Yeah.
He's very complicated.
Yeah.
And the way we look at things today is very complicated. Like, I'm a nonviolent person, JD. Are you a nonviolent person?
Yes.
You hesitated a little too long there.
I was running situations in my head. And I was
thinking of all the fights you got into. Okay. I don't believe that violence is an answer to anything. I believe it's a prelude to having your ass handed to you usually, right?
Yeah.
Now, in John Brown's case, he did. In his cause's case, he didn't, right? I think ultimately his cause won, and rightfully so.
Yes.
Could it have been that maybe if he had just let everybody come to their own conclusion eventually? Yeah, but he was impatient. He didn't have the time for that. The one thing I know, like I said, he's not crazy.
Yeah, well, and what we're talking about here,
what are
really
we talking about? I lost the plot.
when we're studying history,
yeah,
ultimately, I think a proper study of history is studying human nature. And then seeing how that applies to us. So we can look at a character like John Brown and say, okay, here's a man who maybe was fighting for the right cause, but maybe not with the right methods. And then we can apply that to today, where there are a lot of people who have very passionate views one way or the other. And, may have some valid points, but the means by which they try to execute their philosophy or whatever, isn't the morally right option. So,
and it also doesn't help their cause,
and it ultimately doesn't help their cause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, again, I just said that John Brown's raid didn't help John Brown, but he wasn't trying to help John Brown anyway.
Yeah.
But it did eventually help his cause.
Yeah. So
however,
the cause is right,
but he did it in an illegal fashion.
Yeah.
The war was legal. Mm-hmm. Still murder. It's still violent, but it's legal. So we go, oh, well, that's okay. Right. And in the end, slavery was abolished. And then a whole other fight went on for another 100 years,
Yeah.
but that's the point. It's complicated.
Yeah.
It's all complicated.
It's meant to be wrestled with.
Yes.
There's no simple.
No. Who wants
answer.
that? Do you want simple story? I don't like simple stories.
Yeah.
I understand the comfort it gives us. Another one we did was about Custer.
Yeah.
The Custer one, it was Little Bighorn Custer. And the Custer
was
one.
That with Hessler?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the John Brown one are the two longest. Mm-hmm. The Custer one was 3 hours long, right?
Yeah.
And Tad and I have spent the last month. See, look at him. That's what the mention of Custer does to poor Tad. But we've spent the last 2 months, Tad.
Oh, you put my mic back on.
Yeah, it's been on all along. You've just been too quiet.
No, it is not.
Yes, it has.
Okay. Anyways, what was the question?
How many months have we been working on Custer?
It's been because we recorded at the beginning of August, and I think we started editing it
late September.
No, I want to say like mid-September.
Mid-September? Okay. So mid-September, it's a month and a half almost.
But still, I mean, it felt a lot longer.
Well, yeah. And so we've been trying to cut it down to an hour and a half. So basically, we're trying to cut half of it out.
Wow.
But, right. And you know how hard that is.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because this isn't a scripted thing. This is a discussion with 12 people and me and Jim Hessler. Okay. But this is the thing. We finally decided, okay, we cut it down to what, 2 hours?
I think so.
We cut about an hour out. We're having a hard time with that extra half hour. And we're like,
is there going to be a director's cut that has?
Yeah, it's already on Patreon. You can watch it. It's on the whole thing uncut is on Patreon. Anyway, I was saying to Tad before we recorded today, we went for a little walk, and I was saying, all right, I think it's appropriate that Custer is long and John Brown is long. Because both of those guys, to this day, spark passionate discussions.
Yeah.
And people know a lot about, well, Custer especially, everybody there really knew the battle. And so somebody would say something and somebody would go, well, what about blah, blah, blah? And then we go down that rabbit hole for a while, right? And it's just all over the place. But that's what it's supposed to be to me.
Yeah.
History to me is not supposed to be a lecture. If you're out of college, you should not be attending lectures anymore. This is the 21st century. Enough with the lectures. We want discussions.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I want. I'm sick of lectures. And with all due respect to lecturers, I'm not knocking you. I am bored with it.
Yeah.
My ADD can't handle it. I want to discuss. I want to hear people discuss.
Yeah. So Custer,
Yeah.
not the poster boy for humility.
No.
In any sense. And ended up getting him and a lot of his men killed.
Yeah, it did. It did. And that's what's so fascinating is he's, people call him a glory hound, right? And I think there is an element of that's true in the Little Bighorn especially, but also not. Like it's I don't know. It's interesting. And that's what is fun about all this stuff because and again, you have to be an amateur psychologist.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to do that is try to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, but not like situationally in the sense of what would I do if I were commanding a cavalry regiment at a battle with Indians? No. What would I do if early in my military career, I jumped from captain to brigadier general before I'm 25 years old, and then major general by the end of the war? I'm in command of a division and I'm in the papers and people love me. And, my boss loves me and he gives my wife a table from the surrender and says that it's all because of me and I'm so wonderful and great. And then it's all over. And I'm in Reconstruction era Texas of all goddamn places, right? And no newspapers care that I'm there. I have no glorious battles to fight.
Yeah.
And then they send me off to this patch of grass in the desert, in the middle of the damn country. There's nothing out there. No more newspapers again. What the hell do I do? How do I get this attention? And I have an enemy to fight that doesn't fight by the rules that I can win in.
Yeah.
And so what do I have to do? I have to attack them when they're sleeping. Right? And how does that mess with your psyche? Going from rock star to a guy who can't even fill a local pub.
At Digital History Pioneers Foundation, we are about grassroots history on digital platforms. That means we are about podcasters, documentarians, YouTubers, and even TikTokers. All of these creators are out there trying to share their love of history with the public. They don't need ideas, they need funding, both from viewers and corporate donors. DH Pioneer's initial funding focus is on the Civil War era, with a special emphasis on the Addressing Gettysburg podcast. So be a vital part of the unique content Addressing Gettysburg has in store by donating at dhpioneers.com and help bring your love of history to the people. Digital History Pioneers is an IRS Section 501c3 approved charitable corporation that makes any donation tax deductible to the fullest extent of the law.
Yeah.
When he plays. That's kind of what it is.
So I think the question there, we look at the example of Custer. Man, there are all kinds of life lessons and leadership lessons that we can pull from that. He's got the most dysfunctional team that you can possibly imagine with Reno and Benteen.
Yeah.
Which preceded the Battle of the Little Bighorn.
Sure.
It was the Battle of
The
Washita.
Washita, yeah.
Yeah, Battle of the Washita.
Major Elliott gets cut off and wiped out, and Custer doesn't go to rescue him.
Yeah, and Ben Teen anonymously, one of those anonymous accounts, makes a post, slamming him, and then Custer finds out that it was Ben Teen, and these two have just a toxic relationship going in. Lesson from that being, hey man, seek the good in all people, and try to the best of your ability to be able to cooperate and collaborate and work with everyone that you can, because you never know when that relationship is going to be beneficial to you. Ben Teen kind of drags his feet, and maybe could have been in a position to save Custer
or get wiped out himself.
But the whole thing is just a complete fiasco. And
and you say, because you never know when you might need them. And I remember my friends always gave me a hard time because I would talk to anybody, just anybody.
Yeah,
I find people interesting.
Sure,
and they don't. And so they would always be like, "Oh, every time we go out, you're always off talking with other people and blah 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 blah." And I'd be like, "Well, you never know when you might need somebody, right?" And some people hear that and they think that is in some nefarious way, like self-serving, or it's
exploitative.
Thank you. I was like thinking of like 6 different words all at once.
Watching Matt have a stroke.
Yeah,
the gears turning.
Exploitative, but it's not. It's something everybody should do, because you will one day be needed by someone else.
Sure.
And you're going to need other people. No man is an island. We all need other people. There's nothing wrong with that. But there are some, this is the thing with Ben Teen and Custer, right? There's some personalities that from the moment they shake introductory hands, they just know they're never going to really get along well.
Yeah.
But you just said something I loved. You said, seek the good in everybody.
Yeah.
Because you never know when you're going to need them. But it just reminded me of a situation I had recently. I'm not going to say who it is, but
I'm thinking of a name right now.
Yes, yes. And I had a relationship, business, whatever, with someone around here, and for whatever reason, I was never told.
Yeah.
But that person decided to squeeze me out of things, and whatever. Well, that kind of hurt.
Sure.
And I got a little pissed because I did a lot to, help promote whatever. And I got really nasty. Yet every time I get nasty and tell somebody the story or the latest thing this person has done, and they always say something like, "No, he's an idiot," or something like that. I go, no, he's not an idiot. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
He is a brilliant guy. And he does a lot of great things for his organization. He's just a shitty person. He doesn't know how to treat people. And there's a big difference between an idiot and someone who can do what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he's doing a lot of great things. He's just not good to people who were good to him. And I refuse to hate this person anymore. Because and then like a month ago, I heard somebody say something that I had already heard but forgotten, which is hate is drinking poison, expecting it to hurt the other guy.
Yeah,
that person doesn't give a shit that I don't like him.
Yeah,
right. Doesn't like me either.
Yeah.
So where's the love lost, right? Sure. But I refuse to hate him, and I refuse to, because I don't like him as a person and the way he treated me. I refuse to bash the great work that he does, and that took me 2 years to build up to that point, but it's mainly for my own health.
Yeah.
Right. You can't go around hating somebody.
Yeah.
So, never cry over somebody who's not crying over you.
So here's where I land on things like that. You mentioned earlier, my faith
Yeah.
And that it's pretty central, not pretty central. It is central to everything in my life. So a couple of different things there. When I encounter an individual who I just instinctively don't like,
right,
which is, it happens every once in a while.
Meet a lot of people.
Or if I even more so, if I have somebody who has wronged me in some way. Well, according to my faith, I'm a sinful individual whose sin has separated me from God. And yet, even in my sinfulness, even in the ways that I have offended God, He has provided a way through Christ to where I can have access to Him. So when I encounter people who have wronged me in some way, what I think is, has this person wronged me in a way that is heavier or more severe than the way that I have wronged God? And the answer to that is always no.
Right. Yeah.
And yet, even in my sinfulness and in the way that I have offended God, He still shows grace towards me.
Right.
He still shows kindness.
So why can't you show it?
So it's not God just tolerating me. It's actually God pursuing me.
Yeah.
And again, we were talking about Custer and everything, where he's just absorbed with his own glory, and when all that is gone, it just eats up at him, and he's constantly
trying to get it back,
chasing that thing. So for me, like, dude, the YouTube channel, I'm so thankful for the kind words. I'm so thankful that it's grown to where it is. I'm thankful for it all and the opportunities I've had. If it's all gone tomorrow, if I have put all of my identity into this YouTube channel and all the positive comments and the awards and stuff like that, man, it's gonna crush me. That is going to ruin my life, because that's where I've formed my identity. But instead, where my identity is in my faith and in Christ. So all of it can go away.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I still have this bedrock.
Well, and you still have a career outside of that too. You're a teacher, right? So you have, you know, it's not your everything.
Yeah.
I love that. And how old are you?
46. I just turned 46 a couple weeks ago.
We're the same. That's right. We were talking about colonoscopies yesterday. We're the same age. So that is, Jim Hessler and I were saying this during the Custer Tavern talk.
Mm-hmm.
He said it as a joke first, because we were talking about the fame issue with Custer.
Sure.
And Jim goes, you and I know a little bit about that, right? And I go, oh, yeah. And I said, but we were lucky in that ours came later in life.
Oh, yeah.
I were, and I say this all the time, if I were 23, young Tad back there is 23 years old. If I were his age and I had just the success I have from this, which is less than the success you have with yours, but still, same thing, same question to you. If this worked the way it did in your 20s, would you be able to be humble?
I would like to hope that I would.
Well, you remember who you were.
Yeah.
Were you the same way back then?
I was a less disciplined, more fired up version of what I am now. Yeah.
Right.
So
fired up.
Yeah.
Well,
so it would have been.
So fame or whatever you want to call it that we sort of have is fuel on a fire.
Yeah.
Right? It feels good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It feels good.
Yeah.
It also feels, I don't know, I say it feels good. It does, but it also feels uncomfortable at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, do you believe, you mentioned the nice comments and things that people say to you. Do you believe them?
No.
I don't either. Not about you, about me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe them either.
I believe that the people are genuine.
Right.
In their expression of it.
Correct.
I am perpetually dissatisfied with everything that I put out.
Me too.
Yeah.
Very dissatisfied with what you put out.
That's the work.
No,
that's the work of an artist. I think.
I think you're right, because I know everybody I know who's creative never thinks they do a good job with anything.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that comes from. I think maybe it's because we think we could do better, but we're limited by something, time, money, crew, whatever.
Yeah.
Talent, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, I say the same exact thing you do. I believe they're being sincere. But I don't believe they're right.
Yeah.
Like I even say to my girlfriend when she says, oh, you're so handsome. And I'm like, I believe you're meaning that. I just question your taste,
Yeah.
And then I put a picture of, Brad Pitt next to me and I go, which is handsome? And then, Robert Redford over here, which is handsome? She's like, well, he's dead now. So.
You're one up on him.
Yeah.
So you by default. But because you're alive.
Yeah, but here's the danger with, I don't know, whether it's podcast or YouTube or movies or anything like that, or really even social media in general. I had a student one time who told me, we got to talking about, I don't know, social media or something like that. And he said on Instagram, if he posts a picture and it doesn't get 100 likes within a day, he deletes it. And I was like, why? He's like, because nobody liked it.
What do you mean nobody? 100 people liked it.
Yeah, well, that's not enough.
Huh.
So,
geez, I'd have no videos if I worked that way.
So, that's a trap that all of us can fall into.
Yeah.
Whether we have much of a platform or a voice or not, and it's one that I'm constantly having to check myself on as well. Like I'll have a video that I'll put out and I'm like, oh yeah, I put a lot of work into this and I think this is going to connect. This is some place that nobody has ever been or touched on YouTube. And, on the YouTube rankings in our YouTube studio, which gives us all of the analytics and everything, it's 10 out of 10 from the last 10 videos. It's ranked number 10. You're like, Dah. By the way, this humility video that you mentioned that this whole thing is based off of, or it used to be based off of.
we tried to base it off
of. So I saw that comment in the morning. I came home in the afternoon, turned on a camera, and just blabbed for 7 minutes, went to my computer, made a few adjustments with the color correction, and uploaded it. The whole thing didn't take me more than 30 minutes.
Okay.
And then when the rankings came in, number one.
Right.
Now I should be happy about that.
Yes.
But instead, I was like, dadgummit, I spend all of this money going, to Guadalcanal or Japan or something like that. Spend all of this time picking out the music and crafting this thing and doing it, and it flops. Here's this video that I did in less than 30 minutes that was just off the cuff, me just spewing words.
Right. Right. No, I know. I did live streams of the movie. One of them got taken down, and I think that was the one it had gotten like 7,000 views in a day or 2 days or something, day and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
I got taken down because somebody was handling a musket. And they don't let you do that on live streams. But it took them 2 weeks to do that.
Yeah.
But that pissed me off because I was like, I didn't do anything for that. I just walked around with a cell phone.
Yeah.
And that got almost 10,000 views in a short amount of time. Whereas like another video, if it's going to get 10,000 views, it's over a course of a year or two.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you're talking about looking at numbers and that friend who deletes if he doesn't get a lot. Mm-hmm. We all have been kind of complaining about, it seemed to me this year, but I think it kind of started last year too. I'm not sure. Where we all started noticing our numbers and our growth constricting.
Yes.
And now I struggle with that because that is, I know it's something that people look at to judge the success of something.
Yes.
And the enthusiasm from an audience, but there's an intermediary. There's YouTube in between us and our audience, and that's what's changing those numbers. But you can't explain that to people because that just sounds like you're excuse making. But you're not doing anything different than you were all along that got you big numbers.
Yeah.
And got you to where you are. And then all of a sudden YouTube's like, yeah, we just want to do this now. And then it's like, well, great, thanks. And now I look like a loser.
Yeah.
I look like somebody on the way out.
It's a two-edged sword. So
but how do you not because I feel like it's over for me. So how do you not feel that way? Or do you? Or do you not care? You don't care.
No, I care. I care. Because, you know, I want people to learn history. The more views there are, that's more people who are learning. So so that's ultimately what I'm after. YouTube has been a gift. It has provided free access to get information and to transmit information and to absorb information. So it's great in that way. When the algorithm gets monkeyed with, it feels like you don't have control.
Yeah.
So what I do to kind of I don't know, I don't want to say cope with it or anything, but the way that I look at it is twofold. One is that you never know when a video is going to take off.
Right.
I've had so many videos that I've posted and it just flatlined. And then a year later, I'll notice, you know, in my little analytics app, like I'll start getting comments on this video and I look and the whole thing has taken off. So you never know.
Yeah.
It's like planting a seed that takes a year or two to germinate.
Yeah, you have to be patient.
Yeah. And also in a way, you know, I kind of look at it as it's a little bit of a legacy project as well. Man, I would love for my grandpa to have had an iPhone.
Oh, me too.
In 1942.
Yeah. Yep. I would love if my grandfather had one at Remagen. You know, like what would have that been like? Or the Battle of the Bulge? Like what was that like?
Yeah, I would love to see, what my grandpa talked like and, what his opinions were and things like that.
Yeah, before he sounded like an old man. Like a young, vibrant man. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. So that's another
So
way.
no, that's true. I mean, it's leaving a mark, right? You know, someone somewhere when you're gone, when I'm gone, will know that we existed and we did this stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I guess there is that.
If I could also jump in really quickly.
Yeah.
I feel like this whole conversation has just been super interesting to me just because of everything that I've sort of been going through internally and personally the last year, but specifically with this, I think there also has to be a little bit of, you kind of have to be doing this for the right reason. And I think you have to be doing it for more than just, I don't think fame's the right word, but I guess more than just validation.
Yeah. You can't, that doesn't last long.
Right. Because you were saying about that one student you had who, if he doesn't get a certain number of likes, he deletes the post. And that's, doing it for the validation. Like you're not doing it because it's something you want to do. It's something you want to post. You're doing it because you need that sense of, being seen.
Yeah. Where is your identity?
Yeah.
Right.
Is the central question.
Yeah. So just a little bit about me. I'm very much creative. I'm a filmmaker. That's my passion. So I had a YouTube channel when I was in high school where I made little short films and just uploaded them.
Oh, cool.
And there was a certain amount of it that it was like, okay, I'm learning, like I'm figuring this all out. It was creatively fulfilling at first, but deep down in my core, there was another reason. And I was trying to prove myself to somebody who ultimately just didn't really care about me one way or the other. But I was trying to do
that. But
that.
We all do that.
Right.
Dad.
But no, but let me finish. What I'm saying though is, no, you're fine. what I'm
Shut up, Matt.
What I'm trying to get at is that because at the deepest core of that whole experience for me, I was doing it for the wrong reason. I wasn't necessarily doing it because it was something that I enjoyed. I was trying to get somebody to notice me a certain way. And when that happened, the passion sort of died and then it just sort of flatlined.
Yeah.
And that's what I sort of mean by, I think when you do something like this, there has to be something from you that like you're doing this for you to a certain extent. Or I guess also sort of what you were saying earlier about wanting to help people and wanting to talk to people about this sort of thing.
Yeah.
That also has to, the idea that you're doing it for somebody else and the idea that this is something that's bigger than you, I think it's something that I definitely try to, keep in mind at the forefront of mine as well.
Well, and you know what I found? That's very good, Ted. I like that. You know what I found too is when that's your attitude, where it's like, Yeah, I mean, we have our personal reasons why we want to do this. Like, I think you and I both are the same in that we just want to learn for ourselves.
Yeah.
And I remember when I started addressing Gettysburg, I was like, well, I want to learn more about the battle, but I want to get really into it. So I'm going to record it. And originally the idea was to record it to study for the guide exam. A lot of good that did me. But as it started to evolve, it was just like people were like, I love the style of your show because I feel like I'm listening to people talk at a bar.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, that is helping them learn more. In fact, a few people did pass the guide exam and they told me that my show really helped them. And I started laughing in the middle of the guide exam because I was forgetting things that I knew we did a show about literally 2 weeks before the exam. But anyway, I digress. My point is that you have to, like Tad's saying, you have to have that almost altruistic reason or selfless reason to do it because creative people are creative people. But like anything, we need a rest, right? Like we can't like our brain, our creative juices are not constantly flowing at the same volume.
Yeah.
You need to replenish and you need to rest. If it were on me, maybe you're different with all that adrenaline that you were born with, but if it were on me to come up with every show idea, right?
Yeah.
I'd be in a nut house by now. Like I couldn't do it. But the audience to me is just as much a part of my show as Tad is, or Eric, the producer, when he was here, or anybody that sits in the back and helps me in the day to day, because a lot of the show ideas that we get come from an interest of someone in the audience. And I'm like, great, you're helping me rest my brain. And I get what you're saying. I get what you want to do. Give me time. I will find the right expert to talk to, and we will eventually get your topic on. And now I've started involving the audience themselves. Like if they're really interested in, a regiment and they've done a lot of research on them, I'll have them on for an Ask a Guide or something like that. And I love having the audience on. Like I think I love it. I love meeting the people, especially the ones that want to get involved. Like I really love having them be a part of everything. And I've seen you with your audience when people meet you. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you've never been to an event where JD is, you would think Robert Redford or Brad Pitt were here. Like people like look at him all googly eyed and they're like in awe of you. But that means that you really like reach them like deep down. Like you're not just a guy who makes a video. Like there's something they connect with you. I think it's your down home humility, as you point out. I feel like my buddy down the street who's got his hunting rifle above his fireplace and everything. He's just kind of walking around showing me shit. Yeah. And I used to I have family that grew up they grew up there too, down in Virginia. And I used to love to go visit them because they were out in the sticks. Yeah. Not anymore because everything's grown around them. But like at the time it was the sticks, and everybody that lived out there had just a different way of everything. Yeah. And I loved it because it was real. And I think that's what people relate to with you, is like you're very real.
I appreciate that. I mean, and whether you realize it or not, like what you've built out here has been a great service. I mean, I appreciate that. It is providing a master's level education for people who are interested in Gettysburg in particular and the Civil War in general. I mean, it's one of my favorite podcasts. It's
Thank you.
Well, I consistently listen to.
I believe you. Yeah. I do believe you because you share, like when you're listening to one, you take a shot of your screen in your car. Yeah. And I believe that you actually like it.
Yeah. Listen to the one, is his name Ralph Siegel?
Ralph Siegel.
Yeah.
Great Ralph Siegel.
Yeah. Listen to that one yesterday and learned some stuff about like the German revolutions.
Which one was that? That was
he was talking about. It was about the Germans in Gettysburg in the 11th Corps.
The 11th Corps,
and he had some nasty things to say about Oliver Otis Howard that I didn't appreciate. But
but it
was
that's right.
Ralph's great.
I love Oliver Otis Howard. I would love to come back on sometime and do a deep dive on.
I would love that. You want to do that?
Yeah, I would love that.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Good show idea.
Yeah. See, and that's how it works.
And go like forward and backwards from from Gettysburg, because he is a fascinating character.
So a lot of people, Howard is one of these Gettysburg personalities who's getting a new look in the last, say, 10 years. And I haven't dipped my toe in his pool just yet. But I know there are a lot of people. I know Darren and Mayor. I think Mayor more than Darren, but maybe both of them over at the Civil War Breakfast Club love Howard as well.
Yes, they do.
And
I've never met them, but I've listened to their stuff.
And a lot of people are Howard people.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Well, I think that's great because I think, the way history has treated him and Meade and Ewell and Longstreet and everything like that, just because they're generals doesn't mean they're not human beings doing the best that they can in any given situation. And so I like that they're getting a new look because I think that's a fair way to do things. So I would love to do a Howard show with you.
That'd be a blast.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think he's one of the more misunderstood generals.
I would agree with you. Yeah, from what little I know of him, I would agree with you.
Yeah. So I'll just go ahead and tell you the end of the story in the Civil War with Howard. They're having the grand review in Washington D.C. He ends the war commanding one wing of Sherman's army as it goes down, march to the sea, and then up into.
Couldn't have been so bad if that's what he's doing.
Okay, so he's commanding this at the very end of the Civil War. Again, they're having this grand review in Washington D.C. and Sherman says, "I don't want you marching at the head of your army. We're going to let, I think it was Logan, take that spot." And at first Howard's kind of like, man, that kind of stinks. I've led these guys, and I'd like to lead them in this grand review. And then Sherman comes back and he says, "No, I want you up front with me."
Oh.
And in the parade, they start, Howard, humble guy, he brings his horse back, and he says, Sherman's the lead of this thing, and I want him to be at the point. And Sherman looks back and he said, no, I want you by my side on this review.
Yeah.
If he's such a bad guy,
right, then Sherman must be too. That's a pretty good endorsement, though, right?
It's a pretty good endorsement.
Yeah,
pretty high praise.
Well, and I thank you for your compliments, because that I consider to be high praise as well, coming from someone such as yourself. And by the way, when you said it's like a master's level, that kind of struck me as funny, and I want to tell my dad that, because he still wishes that I had finished college.
College is overrated.
I was going to say I did, and I'm sitting here working with you. So maybe it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, imagine if you had just dropped out. You'd be Spielberg's assistant director by now.
Oh, it's great.
Oh, Tad. Anyway, I appreciate all your kind words, and I appreciate your support and your friendship along the way. It has been great getting to know you, and I really enjoyed our conversation.
Likewise.
If I had more time, I would do like a 4-hour interview with you, and maybe someday we could do that. I think you have a very interesting life. You've mentioned things I want to get into that we didn't get into, like the TV show. And you're my age, but you've lived 4 lives already. It's amazing to me. I don't know where you find the time and the energy, and that's what that'll be my big life's mystery.
It's mine as well.
Where does JD get the energy?
And how do we steal it?
Yeah, I would just like a third of it. Now, I'll take an eighth. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this too. I hope you learned a little bit more about our friend JD and Tad back there. Tad, thank you very much for doing the camera work as always. Good job. I've been watching out of the corner of my eye. And we hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Yeah, cool. No, that was fun.
That was very fun.
That was fun.
Yeah, I hope I didn't take it all kinds of weird places.
I like the Rogan style of just going everywhere.
It's cool. It's cool when it does that.